G'day mate, welcome to Cosmoteer with me, Jenny. Today I want to do a dedicated video on, well, factory ships, because I've had a lot of frustration. I've seen a lot of frustration when it comes to automating in Cosmoteer. Having a factory ship that is self-sufficient, that you can just go out and mine freely and have everything just dumped to general storage and then have the factory ship process everything. I've seen people that have gone out and spent half-hour mining to then fly over to the station and manually tell the crew where to put things and spend another half hour just rearranging everything so it's all processed so then they can sell it off. And frankly, like, although mining is very profitable, there is no way I could spend half hour micromanaging the crew. So today we're going to go through how to automate the whole process, because frankly, if there was no automation, I wouldn't be playing. Anyway, with that out of the way, today we're going to talk about, well, how to set up the factory, how to get the most bonuses out of all the factory components, or at least a pretty good bonus, and then also finally, like I said, how to automate the whole process. So first thing I want to do is we're going to go into logistics very, very quickly, the resource management, and I want to have a couple of pre-defined slots for all our loose material. I want 2 for sulfur, I want 2 for iron, I want 1 for copper, I want 1 for titanium, I want 1 for carbon, I want 1 for gold, and 1 for uranium. That means with these slots being pre-selected, it means the crew are going to bring sulfur, iron, titanium, copper, carbon, gold, and uranium to these slots and dump them off. Okay, that is going to be the number one thing they're going to be doing, and they'll do that pretty much forever. And that's really the first thing I need to have done. I need to make sure that these slots are going to be full at all times, because we're going to use them for a moment for advanced logistics. We'll get into the advanced logistics in 1 second. First off, we need to set up some factories. Now, factories, there's lots of different choices. Obviously, the first one everybody builds is steel, because you're not really given a choice. I'm going to be dropping steel right there. Now, steel, all factories have a production rate. So this is going to use 1 iron to make 1 steel, and it's going to make that 1 per second. And that's it. It's going to bring iron into here, and it will bring it in. If we just check this quickly, we can see automatically deliver is on, and automatically supply steel is on. Yes, so steel will go out to anything that requires steel. The problem is there's no factories that require steel. Yes. So it's just going to fill up with steel. These 4 slots will fill up with steel, and then it will stop running. And in fact, if we just crank up the game speed, we can see that the crew are just bringing over unlimited amounts of iron, filling up this. All the slots are full of steel. They're also putting some iron back into these predefined slots, and everything stops, which is a problem. It's a problem. It's a problem we're going to sort out in 1 second. First off, we want to go through and build a little bit more factory. Okay, so that's normally the first factory you build. The second factory is obviously the coil factory. It's the second one you unlock, and if we double check coils, is 1 copper used to make 1 coil. Okay, and again, same as the previous one, it'll auto supply on and auto export off. It's pretty much good to go. It's just going to fill up with coils, and it's going to stop running. Okay. From there, the next factory you tend to pick up after that is hypercoils, which we're going to put here. You may notice that we have this 50%, 25%, 25% on these different factories, because they actually get a production speed increase from having a adjacency bonus for any type of factory. It's not quite any type of factory. There are some conditions there, but yes. So we have the steel smelter, which now has a 50% bonus. So rather than making 1 steel per second, it's making 1.5 steel per second. The coil factory now has a production rate of 0.67 with a 25% bonus on that, which is like a, I don't know, 0.8-ish roughly. I don't know, I didn't do the maths beforehand, because we're going to apply more boosts. And then we have the hypercoil factory streaming along at what is that production rate of 1 per second. Now this uses coils also uses copper. So because we have this set to automatically supply, the copper coils from here are going to here. As it stands currently, we're going to be breaking that in just a second. All right, back into factories, there's a couple more things that we get to add through our course of the game. Next one is generally the tri-steel. As I whack this in place, we're now going to see the steel smelters up to a 75% bonus. It's getting faster. All right, from there, the factory after that you generally add is the processor factory, which will actually go in this corner, facing that way. Yep, processor factory. So tri-steel is 1 titanium in for 1 tri-steel out, but it's not terribly fast, just 0.33. Hence, if it's automated, it doesn't really matter how fast or slow it is, because it's just running in the background all the time, and it'll get done in good time. Processor fabricator is a production rate of just 0.2 processors per second, but we've already given a 25% bonus, so that's not too bad. It is going to use 5 coils in plus 3 gold to make 1 processor. Yeah, it's not terribly fast. All right, from there, there's 2 other we get, which is the enhanced uranium, which will be jumping right there. Enhanced uranium is a production rate of 0.17. Very, very slow, but we've already given a 50% bonus. With a 50% bonus, it's not too bad. It's like, what, 0.24? So almost like a quarter of a uranium, an enriched uranium per second. Yeah, so 4 seconds, 1 enriched uranium. Anyway, this is 4 uranium in for 1 enriched, 4 raw uranium in for 1 enriched uranium out. All right, last one is diamonds. Diamonds we're going to be putting in here. Now, diamonds, you may notice, does not get a bonus, but it does give a bonus to the other factories. So we now have steel cranking along at 100%. We have tri-steel cranking along at 100%. Processors are cranking along at 50%. Coil factory is cranking along at 50%, as is the hypercoil and also the uranium enricher. As for the diamond smelter is 20 carbon in. That's it. You whack 20 carbon in, bang, you get out 1 diamond. It has no speed limit whatsoever. As quick as you can crank carbon in, you're going to get diamond out. All right. So that is, well, that's the factory. That's the factory of all the factory components. It's none of the ammo components. So let's talk about ammo now. Ammo-wise, we get a couple of different ammo factories. The first one is obviously the base ammo factory, which we're going to dump right here. Okay, this is nice and simple. It is sulfur in for ammo out. It is, 0.05 sulfur for 1 ammo out. So sulfur becomes a lot of ammo very, very quickly. Hence, it doesn't really need a bonus because it makes 2 ammo per second, but we're going to give it a couple of bonuses anyway, because the next factory after that is generally the high explosive rocket factory, which will go right here. From memory? I hope so. Yeah, high explosive rocket factory goes right there. Okay, high explosive rocket factory has a production rate of 0.83, which with a 25% bonus brings up to basically 1 per second. Also means we're now making 2.5 ammo per second. Yep, not bad, not bad. Same story with this. This one's sulfur in. We already covered that, and this one is iron and sulfur. Okay. So these 2 are going great. They're doing fine. From there, we get 2 more rockets. Oh, yeah, 2 more rockets. Next one is the EMP rockets, which we're going to put right beside the explosive rocket factory, which is going to use some iron and some copper to give us EMP missiles. So we're going to whack that one in there. From there, we're going to get nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons are, well, explosive, highly explosive. We're going to drop that in there. Now, this is touching both the ammo factory and also the high explosive missile factory, so it's going to give a 25% bonus to both of those. Also again a 50% bonus for itself, which means the production rate is about 0.15 missiles per second. A little bit over, but, you know, close enough. As we can see, it didn't take long to fill up all its stores. From there, the last one we get access to is the mines. Mines I personally haven't used a whole lot, but from what I've seen, they're pretty bad. And that needs iron and ammo. Okay, so it needs 2 different resources to come into it. One we've already produced, plus some fresh iron to give you a tiny bit of landmines. Okay, landmines, space mines. All right, so we have a basic factory. And our basic, I'll just mention really, really quickly, depending on your ship setup, if you have a ridiculous amount of, ammo use, you can put another ammo factory, or in this particular slot, or in my case, I tend to put in a hyperdrive right there. It's a good 2x2 square to whack in a hyperdrive, plus we've got some fire extinguishers and an airlock just to cover, you know, some basics, because this is the highly flammable area. You don't want to have any live munitions anywhere near this. Live munitions that are sent to you at high speed. Yes. All right. So that's our factory. But as we can see, they're filled up. They've stopped running, and I am not short on raw materials. So we want to automate this process by making sure that things get exited from the system correctly. First thing we're going to do, we're going to touch with coils first, okay? We know that both the processor and the hypercoil factory both require coils, so I'm going to set up a dedicated slot for coils. Okay, on top of that, the mines required a ammo, so I'm going to set up 1 for ammo, and actually we'll set in 2 for coils. Coils, copper, it's a choice for you to make. I'm I'm impartial to using 2 for copper because there's a couple of factories that need copper. But as we can see, things cranked into high gear and they dumped out to those slots and then they stopped promptly, which is the problem with this system. It only runs if we dedicate a slot. I don't want to go through and dedicate a slot to all the storages for all the different materials. I want the crew to pull materials out of here and just put it randomly in the storages. By the same token, when I go mining, I want the mined materials to randomly go into storage as well. I don't really want to go through and micromanage any of that. That does not sound like fun gameplay for me. So we're going to change things up. We are going to do a couple of things. First off, I want to have a dedicated slot for coils because I don't want all my coils to turn into processors or hypercoils. I'm going to need some coils for construction work. So I'm going to have a dedicated box for coils. I'm also going to assume that you're making all the different ammo parts, so you're probably going to fire all the different ammo parts. So I'm going to have a dedicated box for each of those. Okay, so we have a dedicated one for mines and nukes and EMPs and high explosive rockets and ammo. We're just going to assume that that's how that's going to work. Okay, so with that done, we're going to see straight away that the crew's going to get to action. They're going to take all the ammo, whack it down here. They're going to take all the coils, whack it down here. But they're still not going to touch any other factories, which is a problem. It's something that I want to fix. So we're going to go about fixing that, and we're going to do that in the Manage Resources tab and also in the supply chain mode. Okay, in the supply chain mode, we can tell them to automatically move things from any box to any other box. So I want to make sure that our raw materials in these 2 boxes are automatically shipped into every single factory. Okay, that's going to be very, very important. Okay, at the same time, there were 2 components we were putting in here. One of them was ammo. I want to make sure ammo gets shipped into there. I also want to make sure coils get shipped into there as well. Also, coils end up going to this factory and this factory, so we're going to put them into the list as well. Now, if I speed up the game, you'll notice that they will fill up these dedicated slots for those that I haven't told them to exit. So we've filled up this one with EMP rockets, but they're no longer bringing ammo out because they've been told to only take ammo to there. They're no longer taking coils out because they've only been told to take coils to there. Technically, we want them to take coils to there as well, but we'll get to that in just a second. So for my ammo factory, I want to have them, hey, look, dedicated go to, these different slots to make sure that they are definitely full, and then we're done, okay? They will only push to these slots. These slots are also technically reserved for them. So if we come out of that mode, we can see that they are definitely reserved for them. They don't have to be reserved, but they are reserved for them as well, just so I make sure I don't overload an ammo. But we can also, and we can do it in just a second, if I want to convert ammo into, if I want to convert the raw materials that go into ammo into ammo, so therefore I can sell it to be a multi-trading millionaire, then we can do that in just a second. So next thing, under resource management, I want to make sure that all the factories are emptied. That includes the ammo factories, okay? So we're going to make sure that I can empty every single factory onto the floor, and we're going to set them all to go to there. Okay, now if we have the crew involved, they're going to, and coils, I also wanted to go to there. Coils has its own dedicated one as well. All right, we can see that the crew is very happily going to come along and fill up this box. But as we can see from all our lines on the map, we already have a bit of a mess, okay? And if I assign this to every single box, it's going to very quickly become an absolute nightmare to try and work out what's going where. So, to simplify things, what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, after you've moved everything to this box, I want this box to fill this box, this box, this box, this box, and so on and so forth. Which means they are going to double handle things, which is less than ideal, but they will empty things into here. After they've emptied things into here, they'll move it to there, or there, or there, or there, and so on and so forth. Also means if we come back into construction mode and we add in some brand new storage boxes. Sure, there. I can come back in here and select this tool, and I can say, hey, you know what? I also want you to fill up these guys. And that's all they'll do. They'll just automatically keep filling up boxes after boxes after boxes. If I remove the boxes, then it's perfectly fine. They will just fill up brand new boxes. And you guys are not being serviced. Why? I just can't get the crew. They're just too busy making ammo. Okay, can we turn off ammo making, please? Just off. Off. Okay, now they're dealing with the other components. Are they? Yeah, that's set to ship to there. As is that. Yeah, they are. They're just very slow about going about it. There's a lot of resources they're trying to drag in at the same time. The crew is not exactly smart, and this is why I want to automate it. Because it's now automated, it doesn't really matter how long it takes, because I'm just moving the ship from location to location to location, mining or dumping on resources or salvaging, and the crew will get around to emptying out these as fast as they can. Obviously, if I run out of uranium, then they're not going to be filling this factory anymore. So then they'll move on to the next process and the next process. Now, a couple of things I do want to mention, very, very important, is under this mode. Okay, so we shipped copper coils to both these factories directly and to this storage box and here. Reason I did that was this will only feed these two if they happen to have coils in stock. So if they've made coils and there's coils here waiting to be exported, they'll get shipped to here or to here. But also they'll get shipped to here. But because these also have, if we come out of this mode, they have the auto supply automatically deliver turned on, it also means they would grab coils from this slot, which is fine. Also any other random storages anywhere around on the map. But on top of that, because we have coils defined, so moving to this slot, and these slots, crew could pick up coils from here and dump it back in here, or any other slot and dump it back in here and then disappear in here. Hence why this is predefined to have coils in it, so it means I maintain a stock of 360. Also, same goes for the armor. The ammo. This is a predefined, 1400 ammo, 190 rocket parts, 190 rocket parts, 180 of the high explosives, the EMP, and the nuclear rocket parts. Way less mines, because mines stack in 4 for some reason. I don't understand it. And as we can see, we are slowly processing, well, this little test ship, and the crew are just going to go nuts doing it. Obviously, some people belts and some other optimizations can make this system run a whole lot better, but the point is we can get the crew to just process everything, fill every single chest with whatever. I don't really care what they fill it with, and after it's all been filled and it's all been processed, I can then arrive at a station and sell the whole lot off. Or I've managed to mine enough raw materials and turn it into processed materials that I can just build a brand new ship. Anyway, with all that said, that sort of brings us to the end of this little video, this little tutorial video. I do hope you guys found it helpful. If you did, can you do me a favor? Can you click the like button at the same time if you want to see more Cosmoteer tutorial videos? There are going to be some coming up in the not too distant future. Definitely want to do mining in the not too distant future because, well, factory ships all well and good, but a mining ship or being mining of the same ship very, very much helps out in the whole factory business. Anyway, if you want to see those sorts of videos, by all means click the subscribe button as well. And lastly, I will remind you, in the pinned comment below, there is a link to my Let's Play. Where we're covering, it's not really a Let's Play, it's more of a tutorial play. We're covering a lot of tutorial things as we go through the game. How to build ships, how to set up doors correctly, how to set up the logistics like this, also the factory component, also how to rapidly expand a ship. My factory ship is quite sizable at this stage, and it has cost me nothing in actual credits. It's just self-replicated as we've wandered through the galaxy. It's slowly turning into a flying space station. Anyway, with all that said, I'm going to leave this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you in the very next video. All right, bye.